welcome to the second episode of TribeX. Our next speaker is Tommi Uitti, Startup Community Manager and Startup Mentor at Startup Tampere and Business Tampere. He is the co-founder of Tribe Tampere, the open and international startup and entrepreneurial community. Tommi is supporting strategic startup initiatives and helping to launch many new startup programs, events, and initiatives. Tommi likes to share his expertise and views with startup founders, investors, ecosystem builders, and individuals who are interested in startups. The topic of the keynote is how do we move forward in the current corona situation, its impact on startups and startup communities. Let's please welcome Tommi Uitti.
Hello everybody. My name is Tommi Uitti. I come from Business Tampere. I'm part of Startup Tampere team in our agency. We have a serious threat going on at the moment, and we need to address that together. I'm here today to deliver a speech, a discussion with you, how we shall overcome these challenges together. We shall prevail. Let me first start talking about public support, what we can provide startup companies and startup communities. The national government is in the news every evening. There are new news coming on daily basis, and new measures are being taken on weekly basis. When it comes to funding, the Finnish national government has decided to make a lot of measures for companies. Let me go some of those measures quickly through for you to recap the fact that you are not alone in there. We have promised that all unnecessary bankruptcies should be avoided. So, when it comes to the financial situation of your company, you should first check the situation with your bank. You should try to ask and negotiate exemption of paying back your loans. Then, when you would need more funding, liquidity, let's say, we have an instrument for that from public sector. We have an agency called as Finnvera, which will provide now guarantees for your loans for this emergency situation. The process to get through, to get the decision on the guarantee, it will be taken only in few days. But first, you need to talk with your bank. So please have a good relation with your bank. There is altogether 18 billion euros now allocated for Finnvera guarantees. It's a huge amount. Let's be thankful for that. And if you have more mature business that you already have a good relation with your bank, you should use that one. Then you have probably heard about situation which is evolving with Business Tampere. Visit Finland, yes. Visit Tampere is also doing a great deal to support you. But first of all, when we talk about funding, Business Finland, we are different agencies, Business Finland, Business Tampere. So Business Finland is providing funding for you. Now there has been introduced 2 new funding vehicles for you to use to develop new services, new development projects for your company. There are 2 of those types. You can make a feasibility study. You would get 10,000 euros for the feasibility study. Or if you have a development project already in place, you might get 100,000 for that emergency funding. So please apply to those fundings. And right away, if you have great development ideas, apply for the bigger sum. That's the only way also the government can understand how many companies there are in need at the moment. The decisions are made also in few days. There have been taken extra resources to handle the applications. And if the funding, which is 150 million euros, if that will finish soon, so let's all send the signal that the funding would be needed to be then more if the funding will not be enough. That's my personal message to all decision makers as well. And then we have ELY centers. They are taking new measures by the 2nd of April. There will be approximately 50 million euros nationally for companies for their development projects. The support, the aid from them will cover about 80% of all the expenses, and 70% of that funding could be paid to you before the expenses come. So also the conditions have been done into better direction for you. This decision will come very soon. So these all official bodies, as I mentioned, Finnvera, Business Finland, and Ely-Centres, they are for the funding. When we talk about services, then we can talk about also Business Tampere, where I am working currently at the moment. We are providing funding help desk and funding consultations for you to find the best solutions for you, and we are also supporting you in the business development matters you might have at the moment. If I may also mention a few of the my hints for you, how should you survive in this current situation. The most critical thing for you, in my opinion, is the cash flow. Please be very aware of your cash flow at the moment, cut all the extra costs, and try to cover all the income, try to send your invoices out which you haven't been sent already, and so on. Try to secure your cash flow, because we don't know how long this situation will be there. Then again, you as an entrepreneur, I would really advise you personally to take care of your own health and capability, operational capability, that you can work. If you as a startup founder, entrepreneur, you are not having the mental capability to survive over this, your company also will not prevail, unfortunately. So you need to mind about yourself as well. Don't extend your resources too much. Try to be secure and safe at the moment. Of course, you need to take care of all your loved ones and so on. I don't want you to be selfish, but I think you got my point. And then when I also tell you not to be selfish, please be very open of what is happening with your business. To your landlords, as I mentioned, to banks, to public sector, everybody. Now it's a time to be over-communicating to everybody, and including also to your personnel. Because when I said also cut your costs, yeah, probably it would not be preferred that you would cut all the costs of your personnel right away. So try to be more on the soft side. There are temporary layoffs in Finland possible, lomautukset. So probably better to go more on the soft side first and not to be on the hard side. Because anyway, the best resource we have in our companies are our employees. Then, what else is happening now in this field? I covered mostly of the public sector side. I gave you a few hints in how, in my opinion, you should be trying to cope in this, to try to build more resilience over the situation. There are a few points we could be very depressed about, the private investments. What I have talked with investors, angel investors or venture capitalists, they both tell me right at the moment that the situation is very unsure, and most probably this year it will go down, the amount of startup investments in Finland and globally. So yes, probably the investment possibilities will be less for your startup. But let's not get too depressed. This means also that now you need to concentrate on your core business. And the best ideas, they will always get their funding anyway. The reason why I'm this optimistic, though, is that always when there is a destructive chaos happening, there is a new beginning coming as well. 10 years ago, we had a financial crisis. Everybody thought, or at least some people thought, that the world will end by that time. Yes, we had very severe problems in our economies. But what happened in startups as well? Yes, the startup investments, they also went down, even about 50% of the previous years. But then again, few very successful startups also sprung out from that time. I could name a few, maybe Airbnb and Uber. They got kicked off during the last depression. And everybody knows what happened after that. So there are always new possibilities also during this crisis. Let's keep that in mind. And then what is really always possible? We need to be distancing ourselves from each other socially, but what we can start creating now even more is that we build our communities online. There have been excellent examples now, Hack the Crisis, Hackathon, so on, that we can start building new types of innovative methods to work together. We can start hosting virtual seminars, distance online meetups, and so on. We just need to get more adjusted to those tools and that new culture that we are not physically present. So what is happening now in Tampere as well, we are all the time now during this springtime trying to check all possible community tools that we could get in place for you. And this is not only in Tampere region. I definitely am addressing all the time nationwide or even globally here. We are going to have talks with Maria 01. We are here all together and we are creating these solutions together to support. And this is the community part, what I really want to address here as well. You are not alone also in that sense that there are many other startup entrepreneurs having the same problems. So it's good that you share your thoughts, your best tips, but also your emotional baggage to your peers. And we can do that online as well. You don't need to be suffering of the situation alone. Please, the crisis can also help you to be more open and to get the support. You will get it. In Tampere especially, we have an extreme optimism in air in that sense that, let's say, I would definitely hope that the situation will get normal. By the autumn time, we will have a new Startup House Platform 6 in place. We will create a great community culture around that, and let's start already building that during the springtime with the tools and possibilities we do have. And an excellent example of this resilience now, how to work together during the crisis as well, is what has our local startup community, Tribe Tampere and Tampere ES Entrepreneurship Society for students, what they have been doing. I'm very thankful for what you guys, the organizers, have been doing, have been enabling for these exceptional times that we can have TribeX and Startup World Cup happening like this online. And especially I would like to thank you, Juho Mäkinen and Lakshmi, that you have been great project managers for this series. And please, let's keep this good vibration on and let's spread it all around. I think the hard times really show the true character of a person. Now this is the real time also to become our best selves. Let's support each other in this time. Let's still belong into the same community, startup community. Let's spread the optimism and the practical tools that we can use during this time. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Also, don't forget to check the Startup World Cup Finland series on this channel. The winner of the pitching event goes to San Francisco to compete for $1 million. Finally, don't forget to check out other episodes of TribeX on our channel.